Detachment is so powerful. It is a total game changer in relationships, in exploring your visions, in exploring your passions, in following through with your goals that you set in life. It's a total game changer because it allows you to go on the path of least resistance, the most effortless path to attaining what is it that you ultimately want. And so if you describe yourself as a more anxious person, as a person who has an anxious attachment style in his relationships, well, my friend, this video, you'll find this video so helpful because I'll share with you a story of like a subscriber I've talked to just a while ago, like just a week ago, and I suggested to her some practices that I will also explain to you in this video of how you can detach, how you can let go, how you can detach from the outcome you want to experience so that you can actually embody it within yourself and make it natural for you to have. So, that being the case, if you want to learn how to practice detachment in your life, in your relationships, in exploring your visions, your goals, your passions in life, then stay with me until the end of the video because I'm sure that the practice you'll find about in this video, it's like it will totally shift your attitude about what you want from being needy and from being anxious and from feeling insecure to feeling natural, neutral, just being fulfilled just because you are. So that being the case, let's directly get into the topic. It's actually it's quite an abstract it's quite an abstract topic, and so that's why I will use an example to explain what detachment means, and then from there we will see where the video goes. It's totally unprepared, just so you know. So here's the example and the story I wanted to share. Just like the last week, I think it was, I've had a discovery call with one of the subscribers in this channel. So by the way, if you also want to book a discovery call and if you want us to connect and talk about your emotions and how you can let go of your attachments so that you can attract to yourself your specific person with greater ease, you can check out the free training below, the 3 phases training for attracting more conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships. And once you go through that training, you'll find a calendar where you can book this free discovery session. So, anyways, what happened is that on this call, the subscriber, the person I was talking to, the woman I was talking to, she shared with me that she's exploring now, she's dating this guy who isn't investing in the relationship that they're exploring. He's not investing emotionally as much as she does, and so he isn't taking her as seriously as she does. And she found herself that she was being more attached. She was like needing him. She was looking for them to spend more time together to go on dates, so on and so forth, but he wasn't expressing the same amount of interest. And so she was looking to turn the tides. She was looking to shift the perspective. She wanted to to experience something differently, to in a way make him as much attracted to her as she was to him. And so then we talked in this discovery call. And then I suggested to her that instead of her being attached so much to this person and idolizing and putting him on a pedestal, assuming that he is the one in her life, I suggested to her that she could create a vision. She could create a vision and connect to a vision of what she actually wants from her ideal relationship. So if she met her ideal partner, who would he be? Like, what would his qualities be? How would he look? How would he treat her? What would his opinions of her be? What would they do together? And I suggested to her that she just makes that vision, and when she's dating, instead of being attached to the person she is dating, to her specific person, she becomes attached to that vision that she has created. And so anytime she goes out on a date, then then she um then she actually sees how aligned the person she is dating with is to her vision. And when she does that, she's not unnecessarily being attached to the person and sabotaging herself. And so she's able to detach from him and just get to know him effortlessly, easily, naturally, spontaneously, without forcing things to move forward. Because when we are so attached to an outcome, and so what happens is that um, when we want to have a relationship with our specific person, we become so attached to how we want things to move forward in that relationship. And so we are attached to the outcome. And then when we are attached to the outcome, we think that we need to behave a certain way so that they like us back, our specific person likes us back, and we can we can go that we can make that relationship move forward. But what happens unconsciously to us is when we're attached to an outcome, and then we are not authentic, we're not spontaneous. We start being fake. We start behaving as if we needed to be somebody else so that we can have something serious with the person we are dating. And so this energy of like being fake and trying to be needy, trying to persuade them to like you, it is pushing them away. And so they feel that subconsciously, because we humans, we are energetic beings. We always feel when somebody is expecting something from us, and we're not they're not transparent with us about what they're expecting. And so this was her case. This was the situation of Sylvia. She was called Sylvia. And so what happened is that I suggested, make yourself this vision, and then when you're dating, what becomes your responsibility is to see how aligned the person you're dating is to your vision. And so other than that, I also suggested with her one practice that she can try, and I'll explain in a moment how that practice works. The practice I suggested to her was that she explore where her attachment is coming from. And so in a way, I suggested to her to explore what are the feelings she would experience if what she wanted to happen with her specific person, with the guy she was dating, didn't happen. So what would she assume is true about herself when the worst case scenario unfolds? And the worst case scenario for her was that he rejected her. She didn't want to spend any more time with her, and he just said something like, I don't see things moving forward between us. I just want us to be friends. And so I suggested to her, what if you could accept that initially? What if you could imagine it in your mind and experience the worst case scenario of which you're afraid? Because she was being too attached to things, to the outcome that she wanted from him, and that outcome was that she wanted him to invite her on another date. She wanted him for him to be more committed, more emotionally available, but she was attached to that outcome, subconsciously being afraid of rejection. And so I told her, what if you accept the worst case? What if you for a moment assume that the worst case, the thing that you're most afraid of, would happen between you and him? What if that were to happen? And what if you were to accept the feelings that come up with that? Because when you do, then your mind wouldn't be attached to the outcome. It wouldn't resist what you don't want to happen. And if you accept both the outcome, the positive outcome, and the negative circumstance that you're trying to run away from, you accept both of them as natural. And so from there, things can actually move forward because your partner wouldn't feel that pressure. Your date wouldn't feel that pressure. And so eventually she tried that. And just actually today, when I'm shooting this video, just today she sent me a message on Facebook sharing what happened. And she basically told me that she did exactly that. She created herself a vision of what her ideal partner was. And not only that, but she also explored and surrendered and let go of the feelings that she was afraid of accepting. And by the way, if you need further explanation of how letting go works, you can check out my letting go playlist, or how you can let go even when you think you can't, this video here that I will attach, because it will give you a much greater understanding. But so anyways, that being the case, she applied the practice that I'll explain in a moment with you how it works more practically. She applied the practice. She stayed with those negative feelings, the combination of those sensations she was feeling, that she was resisting, that were like the worst case scenario. Basically, when you ask yourself the question, what is the worst case scenario if things between me and my specific person don't work out? How would I feel? And so you instantly start feeling resistance in your body. You start feeling pressure somewhere. You start feeling friction inside. And so you stay with that pressure. You stay with that friction, because this is exactly what your specific person feels when they're thinking of you. And so if you let go of that, then you allow for the relationship to move forward naturally without you forcing it. And so anyways, she did that for a while. Like, she, I think, spent 1 or 2 hours doing that for a couple of days. like not every single day, but totally. I don't know exactly how much time it was, but she did it for a couple of times, exploring her feelings. And then what happened is that next week they went on a trip together. Like he invited her on some trip, and they went on that trip together. And after that trip, he invited her on for a dinner, where he told her that he told her that he wanna get to know her better. He wanna spend more time with her. And so what she wanted to experience, she only experienced it when she detached from the outcome. So, what is detachment again, and how you can detach? Now, this is the more practical part of this video. Well, you can only detach of an outcome if you accept the potential that it won't happen. Because if you expect it to happen and you exclude the possibility that it won't happen, then you are trying to force it. You're not accepting anything else. And if you're not accepting anything else and you're trying to force it, you're subconsciously saying to yourself, I am afraid that it won't happen. But when you accept the worst case scenario, what you're running away from, then what happens is that you put that outcome that you're attached to, you drop it down from the pedestal you've put it on, you drop it down to the ground, to more natural, to just more natural attitude that you have of that outcome, and you accept that positive outcome on the same level as the negative outcome that you were running away from, because you explore what is the worst case scenario, what is the worst thing that could happen, and this is what your mind is hiding from you. So when you're attached to a positive outcome, at the same time you're resisting the negative outcome, and that's why you're attached, because you're resisting the negative. That's why you're attached to the positive, and that's why you're like trying to chase after it, trying to force it to happen. And when you're trying to force it to happen, since you're running away from those negative feelings that you're resisting, and it's like you cannot run away from them because they're on the inside, right? So when you accept the negative feelings, as paradoxically as it sounds, then you also surrender your attachment to the positive. And now, since you have surrendered your attachment to it, then you can actually experience it, and the circumstances will unfold in the path, through the path of least resistance, through the most effortless path. And this is what happens when you detach. So again, if I were to explain, and I'll share exactly what the practice is in a moment, but if I were to explain what detachment really means, detachment is basically your ability to detach from your feelings, to become an observer, to just be as presence awareness. As Neville Goddard states, just be in the awareness in the unconditioned awareness of your being. Without any conditions, you observe. And so you observe the negative feelings that you're running away from, that are the exact opposite of what you're attached to, from presence, from just being a neutral observer. And then you allow them to come up, and to let them go, let them be there. You let them go by letting them be there. This is the paradox. You don't let go by trying to remove them or trying to change them. No, you let go by letting them be there. And when you let them be there, by contemplating on the question, what is the worst case scenario that could happen if I were to not experience the outcome that I am attached to? If it didn't happen, if my specific person rejected me, if I didn't get approved on that job interview I went to, if I didn't make that sale that I was so attached to, if not enough people came to my event that I was organizing. This is something that I was letting go actually like a week ago, because I was organizing a workshop. And so you accept the opposite of what you want. This is called, the practice is called it paradoxical intent. It's paradoxical exactly for the reason, because you accept the contradictory feelings to what you want to experience. And when you accept the contradictory feelings to what you want to experience, then you're able to let go of them. And so your awareness gets into its normal, primordial, like natural state of pure, naked, unconditioned awareness of being. And then you're feeling neutral about your desire. And when you feel neutral about your desire, it feels natural to you. So it is good either way. It's okay if it happens, it's okay if it didn't happen. And there is not, you've already surrendered from your attachment to the positive outcome, and now you're not pushing it away by your needy, anxious, chasing energy. Because everybody, like all people can feel. You know that, and you have felt that also. Like, think about it. Whenever somebody has an expectation of you and you're in the company with them, and it's like inside, when you think of that person and when you look them in the eyes, inside of your body, you feel this stiffness, you feel this resistance, this friction. It's like, something is not, it's not okay here. I don't feel okay in the presence of this person because he's expecting something of you and he's not transparent. When he let goes of the attachment to his expectation, then you start feeling natural again in his presence. Or when he shares transparently with you what is he expecting from you, then again you start feeling natural. And this is the exact example. Like, think of it this way, because if you can remind yourself of such a circumstance, of such an occasion in your life, then you can basically understand what is happening when you feel attached to a certain outcome. So again, what is detachment? How do you detach? You detach by being neutral, feeling natural and neutral of what you desire, not putting it on a pedestal, letting go of um, the reasons why you need to experience it. Because it's like you're projecting a positive state on a certain outcome, and then you inwardly say to yourself, I cannot experience these same feelings unless I have that thing that I am attached to, this outcome that I am attached to. And so you limit yourself. And since all feelings they come from the inside, you have never experienced the feeling on the outside. Somebody else might have triggered a feeling on the inside, but it's always an inside experience. All feelings are an inside experience. And when you project a positive feeling state on an outcome, then you're feeling negative if that outcome doesn't happen. You're feeling the lack of it. And so when you let go of your attachment, this is what it means to detach, to become an observer again. Again, look at it from, you observe your feeling from a neutral standpoint, from unconditioned awareness of being. And then you contemplate. This is the practice now, the paradoxical intent. It's called a paradoxical intent. It's something I've been applying in my life for the last 4 or 5 years already. I've been applying in my client's life since 2 years, since I started my business. It works like magic. And it's this same question. What is the worst case scenario? What's the worst thing that could happen if what I wanted to experience didn't unfold in the way I want it to happen? How would I feel? And it's a paradox. I know it's a paradox because you're basically like, if you look at it from the perspective of the law of attraction, for example, or the law of assumption, I'm telling you right now, experience the opposite of what you want. But here is the truth, my friend. Most people who are exploring Neville Goddard teachings, law of attraction, Abraham Hicks, so on and so forth, they're exploring those teachings because they're running from their own negative feelings. And by being positive and thinking positive, they think that I can cloud all my negativity with all this positivity and fix my life. No, it doesn't work that way. Sorry to tell you that. But if you're holding on to all the negativity on the inside, and if you're not willing to look it in the eyes and let it be there, accept it and let it go, let it come up and let it go, anything that you try that is on the positive spectrum, like visualizations, affirmations, whatever it is, it won't work. That's why you feel resistance to your manifestations. Like, that's why they are not happening, because you're not willing to accept how you would feel if you let go of the outcome. Now, if you let go of the outcome, obviously you wouldn't feel good. You'll feel negative about it. You'll feel like a combination of negative sensations that come through your body, but you'll just observe them from the unconditioned state of your awareness of being. And by observing them from that state, you let them pass, you let them go. You may cry a little, whatever happens, you let it go, you let it be there. And then you reach a state of neutrality, of being neutral, just feeling it's good either way. If it happens, perfect. If it doesn't happen, that's great, doesn't matter. And from that state, now if you start imagining what you want from that neutral state, then the effects it will have on your consciousness are so much more powerful. Like, then you understand how the feeling is the secret. Then you'll be able to embody the feeling of your desires from that surrendered state. But first, you need to reach that state of surrender. You need to detach. And how do you detach? Again, you detach by exploring the worst case scenario. It's a paradox. That's why it's a paradoxical intent. but it's been proven to work. Like even in psychology, I first learned this practice from from the book, Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. And so inside the book, he's like teaching a specific type of psychology. And anyways, he basically shares the practice here. And it's like, it's a psychological practice. And let's say psychologists, the example he gave in that book was that psychologists basically use that. For example, let's say there is a person who is afraid of heights, right? Who is afraid of like high buildings and generally afraid from heights. And so the psychologist tells him, okay, I want you to go like every single day on the top of on the rooftop of the block that you live in, of the what is it called? Anyways, on the block that you're living, I want you to go on the rooftop and little by little come closer to the edge. And by doing that, you let go, like you feel free from that fear of hate that you have. And so like the patient does that, and every day he does that, and like he comes closer and closer and closer to the edge, feeling more comfortable with the feelings that this triggers in him. And so by doing this for a couple of weeks, eventually his fear of hate is no more there. It's surrender. This is the same. It's like, but it's the same practice, but we're applying it psychologically here. So in your mind, you can imagine the worst, like what would happen? How would you feel if what you wanted to experience didn't happen? And then you detach. Do you understand what is detachment now? It is called detachment exactly for the reason that when you accept how you would feel if you detached from the outcome that you assume should happen for you to feel good, and then you drop it, you detach, then you experience the feelings that you're running away from. These feelings are what is creating the resistance on the outside, and this resistance is exactly what you're experiencing that is contradictory to your desire. So when you let go of those feelings on the inside, you let them be there, you drop your attachment to the outcome, you detach from it. You're able to accept the feelings that come up with that, and then from a surrendered state of detachment, what you want will come to you. So it is again, it's like the Alan Watts quote. I think I paraphrased it in like some of my previous videos. Wanting a positive experience is a negative experience. Accepting a negative experience is a positive experience. This is the backwards flow. If you want to research it, it's like, it's something Alan Watts talks about. I love this philosopher, by the way. So again, this is what detachment is, my friend. Accept the worst case scenario and then see how things go forward. And then after you experience what you want when you have detached from it, I would love you to come back to this video and comment down below what has been your experience, because it can inspire so many people if you do that. And again, one last invitation: if you want us to connect and like let go together, talk about limiting beliefs, talk about what is the resistance that is pushing your specific person away, you can go through the 3 phases training for attracting conscious, uplifting, and meaningful relationships, where you understand what are the 3 phases generally that you pass through, that a lot of people pass through, until they're surrounded only by people that support and lift them up. So you can go through that training and schedule your free discovery call at the end of it. You'll see a calendar link, and this is how we can connect and talk one-on-one. That being the case, my friend, thank you so much for watching the video, for staying with me. Like it if you liked it. Comment down below. Let me know what is your experience with detachment. Ask questions. Share whatever you want. I would love to converse with you. And if you're new to the channel, to the Soulful Relationships channel, where we explore abstract concepts like that, we talk about letting go, about a lot of content about attracting your specific person, and generally attracting meaningful, soulful, intimate, deep relationships. So if this is something that you want, that is important for you, and you're also like a student of the Law of Assumption and of Neville Goddard, subscribe to the channel, and I would love to see you around, because we have so many topics to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying with me. I love you so much, my friend. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.